And welcome, everyone. Welcome to an OSR tabletop live stream with myself, GM Bloodworth. Uh, this is the first official launching of the way that I'm going to do my live streams on Sunday evenings. So I am broadcasting this to a few news sites this time around. So it is still going to YouTube. It is still going to X, but I have included now Rumble. So Rumble will be part of the three select streaming services that I will be sending to. No longer Facebook, because there wasn't very much of a following from Facebook, but they will still be posted onto Facebook after the fact. So for those of you that are joining in from Rumble, welcome. I encourage you to cross over and also follow the channel over on YouTube and vice versa. So for those of you that are on the YouTube side, broadcasting this over on Rumble under a new channel name called the OSR Tabletop with GM Bloodworth, our live stream with GM Bloodworth. So you will find it over there as well. I will be posting links either throughout or at the very end once it does go in video mode for on YouTube and elsewhere. So anyway, it's been a great week. It's been quite a bit of return to gaming, because I had 2 consecutive weekends in a row of conventions. Not that there wasn't gaming going on there as well, but my home gaming had come to pretty much a stop over the last 2 weeks, and glad to have picked back up again into my OSC campaign that is on Saturday evenings. We had a great session last night. Player character died again, but we were fiddling around. We actually came across a very interesting thing, and this live stream is going to be focused on upcoming products, events, and trends in the tabletop role-playing hobby. And so, one of those trends is that we have been looking at the impact of AI in some of the things that we've been doing. And so last night, one of my players was checking, because he was kind of convinced that in OSE there is an optional rule for dealing with character death, and that they perhaps get a saving throw or whatnot once they go below 0. But if they fail that saving throw, they're dead. So he checked and did like a Google search, and the AI actually produced not just that there is in fact an alternate rule, but it said where you can find the rule and what page you can find the rule, and it was completely wrong. It was not there on that page. It was not an optional rule. There was nothing there. But I was feeling somewhat generous, and I was like, you know what, it makes sense that there would be some kind of a thing, but they'd have to get to you really, really fast, potentially by the next round in order to save you. And then I remember my own rule, where it was that you can only go to a negative that was 1 point beyond your Constitution bonus. And so if you had a +2 Constitution bonus, then you would not die until -3 hit points. So if I applied that, that character would have still died. But last night I made a ruling, and go with the ruling, and then I will in the future amend that and go forward. So yeah, it was a great learning experience. That I was like, hey, you know what? Don't trust the AI information, especially when it comes off. I mean, it was very precise. You can find it in this supplement on this page, and it was completely wrong. Let me start saying hello to some of the people that are in the chat here. So, hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, I am not really early. I am, this is my regular time. I did a live stream, I think last weekend at 3 o'clock, and it was not a great timing, despite what YouTube was saying in the algorithm that I have the most people following at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. And when I did that, there was, not very many people there at all. So, I mean, the views eventually got caught up, but not during the actual running of it. So I went back to my 7 o'clock, and this will run between 7 p.m. Eastern time and probably shut down around 8:45ish or so, because I know a lot of other people stream at 9 o'clock, and I don't want to prevent anybody from not going over and watching over there or whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of the time frame niche that I'm looking to grab. All right, so let's see what else we have. We're really early. I don't know who is. I don't know, Mark, if you are really early. I don't believe you are. Vladimir, welcome. Good to see you. And apparently just a little early. I'm not sure. If anything, I launched about 30 seconds late because I had closed out one of my windows, and all of a sudden it wiped out everything I was going to tick off to as well. I will be inviting people into the into the stream in a little bit as well. Hey, Ultra, how's it going, Hunter? Good to see you. Decado, welcome. How's it going? Chthonic Musings, as always, good to see you again. I just backed into my solo gaming after 2 months of burnout. Yeah, I'm actually going to showcase a solo thing in some of the game coverage that I'm going to do this evening as well. So so I will be showing that, because it is something that I've been hearing more about, and it's certainly something that is right up my alley too, because it's one of the game systems that I do run. I just don't, I haven't run it solo, so I'm going to definitely check into that. Isn't there an optional rule in OSC for death up to? That's what we thought, Takata. Well, or that's what they thought, and when they looked into it, the AI told them the wrong thing. The AI told them that they would find it in the I almost said Cursed Scroll, but it's not Cursed Scroll. It's whatever they use, something Carcass for OSC, and it said in number 1 on page 30, and that was Thieves modifications. So it was just totally wrong. So there doesn't appear to be one up to -10. I'm not crazy about that rule. No, I don't think it's in there. And when I looked for it, or when we all collectively looked for it, we didn't find it. I'm going to stick with mine. I'll let last night's pass, but I'm going to stick to my rule, where if you have a positive constitution, 1 point beyond that, you can go into the negatives. So as I said earlier on, if you have a +2 constitution modifier, you can go to -2 and still be surviving. -3, you're dead. All right. And that's how I'm going to cut that. And I do that across the board with a lot of my others, because I'm not a huge fan of -10 either. The one thing I was always very critical with, or very strict with, that -10 rule, was that once you go beyond that -10, you go to a -11, you cannot even be, you cannot have raised dead, and resurrection wouldn't even work, because your body is so destroyed, at that point, that you just cannot be brought back. So, so yeah, I'm always looking for things that make sense, not just rules that help out the players or whatnot, but I look to see, like, does it have a logical application going along those lines. And so that's why I do those kinds of things. I like to make your attribute scores actually count, for something beyond just what they say, but a little bit beyond that as well. And so that's what I do. So anyway, with as many rule sets as I have read, it could be another system. Yeah, and I was running into that same thing. I was like, I'm conflating multiple systems and everything and just jumbling them up, and it's really hard to keep those optional rules in particular in line with your memory when you are playing so many different rule systems. Yeah, don't trust AI. You have to double check every result it gives you. I've had AI give me too many incorrect results. Yeah. And it's, I don't mind like using the AI just to get some, some ideas once in a while, but or to direct me, or I mean, you don't have a choice now. If you do a Google search, it's using AI to give you that information up front. If it's not something if it's not something important, then who cares? You just run with that. But if it is something important, not the game and whether a player character is all that important, but it's something that you should use, um, bearing that in mind. That is not 100% accurate. So anyway, getting back to so yeah, that's kind of a trend. That's the discussion within the hobby for do we use AI? Do we not? What kind of AI do we use? Are we accepting of AI art? Well, if we're accepting of AI art, does it apply to small publishers, or is it only something that we would say no, you can't use it if you're a multi-million dollar or multi-billion dollar corporation that's producing, and to me that kind of gets into too much of a back and forth. There's good arguments on both sides of whether to allow it or disallow it. I personally draw the line at if you're using AI to write your adventures. To me, that's a no-go. um, a game master should be writing their own stuff, and really gearing the adventures or the campaigns around what the players are bringing to the table with their characters, and not relying on AI. So I'm not going to use AI to create my adventures. That's all off the top of my head. When I'm writing adventures, even for publication, or especially for publication, I should say, I'm absolutely not using AI. It is completely a product of my own creation. I might be influenced by the various books and things that I've read. I'm currently working on, although not for publication, an adaptation of Red Nails for Hyperborea third edition that I will be running at a convention. That is not for publication, even though I could probably get away with it because Red Nails is a Robert E. Howard Conan story that is in the public domain. But why bother trying to thread that needle? Let's say I'd rather just up it's for a home game or a convention game, and it's not for publication, and so I should be fine with that or safe with that anyway. Um, if we're back from dying, how do you handle the status of the patched up, healed? Are they okay, okie dokie, or are they wiped out? Need to be rest for long capacity. Well, the rule in OSE basically says that if you were raised dead, you need at least a week of 100% complete rest. All right. Now we happen to have 2 weeks because of the conventions that I attended. So they had more than enough time to do that. But yes, I would hold them that they're not just bounced right back again and ready to go right back into action. No, it's got to be a huge drain on themselves, and it really should be a huge drain the the priest or the cleric or whomever was casting the raise dead spell. It should be draining on them as well. I don't care what level the spell is. It should be a very draining experience for the caster. So that gets into, things that you will discuss with the players at your table, and make sure that you're not only, giving them a heads up that this is how I'm going to run this, but also be very consistent with it. So, yeah, those kinds of things always come in, as part of, and it's almost like a trend, right? These same issues come up in gaming, these discussions, in whether it's done in a session 0, or how do you handle character death, or it's like every 3 or 4 months these same issues keep on popping up and become the talk of the internet for a time frame. It'll come across everybody's YouTube channels, primarily, and people chatting about it. It might even appear on Reddit, but I really don't follow Reddit, so I'd have no idea. But for the most part, I think that we all fall back on what is going to work at your table, and I think that's bottom line, the most important thing. If it works at your table, do it. If it's not working at your table, fix it. And that's basically my philosophy of how I run my table. So I might get some purists that say, "Hey, that's not how the game works," and fine, that's great for you, but not at my table. And others will be like, "Hey, you should include this." But if my players haven't been looking for it, or I haven't felt the need to put it in, I'm not going to do it either. So again, these are things that come around every once in a while. So it's good to, every once in a while address these trends that are coming up, and then we move on. We'll wait about 3-4 months and it'll come back up again. So we'll see how that goes. So some of the things I wanted to bring up, because upcoming products and events and trends. So upcoming products. So there is a Kickstarter about to launch in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to share that with you. I highly recommend that you check it out. I think you can just type it in there now and follow it. So I am going, but I will post the link in the comments here for you to check out. So I'm going to post the link first, and then hopefully you will be able to check out this item. Now, I did showcase this on the channel a couple of weeks ago. I had Agile Monk and Mike come on the channel and talk about their project. And now I'm going to share this screen here so that you can see this. And let me make sure I'm doing this right. So I am going to share. All right. So there we go. So I am sharing with you, and let's make us even here, pretty much even here. And so I'm going to go even more even here. Oh, that's a little bit too much. Looking for the right balance. No, there we go. I'm going to go with this one here. So it is the Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and Zendria World lore book. So this is produced by or published by Agile Monk. Many of you see him across our various YouTube channels, mostly the OSR and independent YouTube channels. You will see this fine man going in and just sharing his wisdom, and giving a lot of support, whether it's supporting by giving out free memberships, and or just direct contributions and everything. But he is everywhere, and this really looks like it's going to be a great Kickstarter. I can't show the video of it. Well, actually, I don't have it yet anyway, because it isn't live. But the last time I tried showing the video, I got a copyright strike, even though they approved it. But that's just YouTube for you. but it is a collection of wisdom tools and well-crafted consortiums and a world setting and lore guide for Sandbox and West Marches campaigns. And, here you can go and see it is launching sometime this month. I believe the second week of May, so probably about 10 days or so, this will be launching. There will be an early bird special for it if you back it within the first 72 hours, in which you'll receive a free FCW adventure. It will be delivered digitally by PDF. And then there is, so here's some of the things like I was mentioning about AI. There's no AI art, no AI writing. It is made in the USA. It is veteran-owned publishers, and they're multi-system compatibility. So stat blocks, faction reputations, and quest templates for easy drop-in and play. Sandbox tools, such as rivalry webs, trade disputes, and portrayal mechanics to fuel emergent stories, new adventure mechanics. And the art is incredible. I am absolutely looking forward to this and can't wait. So there will be coalitions, cults, factions, guilds, mercenary companies, orders, secret societies. I've seen some of the maps so far, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Again, you can see the art is just hits it out of the ballpark. Here's the world map here. It's looking pretty good. Here's some focused maps. Looks really good as well. Some city maps. It is, just like I said, hitting it out of the ballpark. So really looking forward to it. And I'll be hyping this up again. I'm sure I'll have both Agile Monk and Michael on again when they do launch to help push this forward. I am not only going to back this, but I'm actually going to get it in both versions. I'm going to get the hardcover, both books, and softcover, both books. That way I can bring the soft covers to conventions when I'm running adventures set in this setting. And also I will be writing an adventure for play at conventions initially, and then I'll be looking to publish that adventure that I'm writing. I'm going to be spending this summer actually working on it, and I'm hoping to have these, by the summertime as well. I don't know exactly what their timetable is of how fast they will come to print, but from what I understand, the writing is primarily done. So it should be a fast turnaround rate. So I'm going to stop sharing there. I'm going to get to some of your comments as well. Old School Essentials, Demonic Grimoire. Demonic Grimoire has me pretty excited, and I've backed that as well, Bo. And I can't wait to get a hold of that as well. And that is going to be another big advancement, I think, both for Necrotic Gnome, and they've been big for a while now, and OSC has been big for the OSR, and this is the kind of thing that will, I think, give them a further boost again. So I think that's really important. There were huge, like three or 4 years ago. Let me just look at the printing of this and see when this came out. I want to say it was initially came out in 2020. All right, so just 5 years ago, they're going to put out a new either a new printing or possibly they called it a new edition sometime very soon, and I'm certainly going to jump on that as well. Even though I just got these back in December, I'm certainly going to pick those up as well, and I think that will give it a second wind, or potentially even a third wind for this game system. It's a phenomenal system, highly recommend it, and thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me, Bo, that is coming out soon. So, hey, welcome from the Dominican Republic. It's good to see you, and always good to see people coming from all over. I noticed on my one of my algorithms like messages, it was like my second most viewed on a particular video was from India. I thought it was going to be like Canada, which is normal. Whatever, it's like US and then Canada, but India was the second one, and I was like, wow, I'd have to look at and see, what it was about that particular video that was, so widely watched from India. So I don't think I can dig that far into it, but I welcome those people um, from all over the world. You're all welcome here, and hopefully the system is working to do the translations, both closed captions and translations. And we also have Brazil here as well. So greetings, thank you for coming in from Brazil, and yeah, so it's certainly a global, it is a global thing. Our hobby is global, and that's something that playing, playing over the internet, has really, I think, opened up our hobby to the point. And yes, we can thank that silver lining that came out of COVID, that it really did open up. It really did open up the hobby to a global audience. And so, many of us who run primarily online, we're pulling players from all over the world. And I say that's a positive that you don't get from just playing at, a local gaming shop in person and everything like that. Yeah, there's incredible things about that, and it's hard to replace those, but those don't give you what's hard to replace from running online. All right, and you can literally have people from all over the world sitting at your table. That's not happening, at your local gaming shop. That's not happening in your house. You might get people from all over, the same country, and at a big convention. But for the most part, conventions are fairly regional as well. And I, as a big proponent of going to local conventions, I see the same people over and over again within the same network of 4 or 5 or possibly 6 different conventions all going on. And it's a great feeling. It's a very homey feeling when you start to see the same people over and over again at the various conventions that you go around. And yeah, I think it's a net positive, no matter how you're engaging with this hobby. When you're meeting new people, that is the key point, I think, to the hobby, is that it allows us to meet so many new people. And yeah, let's just keep that going, keep that up, and and forever expanding your horizons, across different game systems, across different genres, and across borders. I mean, you are going to have the opportunity to play with so many different people that you wouldn't be able to um, with other potential hobbies that you have. So anyway, we will continue on. And so some of the other things I wanted to bring up, because I am focusing on this being kind of products, announcements, and whatnot. I'm planning to do my first TTRPG at North Texas in June. Well, yeah, that's going to be awesome. I wish I could get down there, but that is just too far out of my range to go to. But I do have conventions coming up in June. I already have 2. I have AutoCon, which is a very local convention for me. It's in my hometown here in Pleasant Valley, New York. And then I have CNYCon. So this is the shirt from it. although it's reversed. I never know how to flip the image for you, but it is reversed. I think I could do it on here. Let's see. Let's see if I can switch the camera view. I don't think I can. Not while I'm rolling. Unless somebody wants to tell me how I can do that in, while I'm already streaming. But anyway, let's see. That's a great one. Perfect size. Yes, I hear so many positive things about it that it is something that you should definitely check out if you can. At OSRCon, in our Dragonbane session, I had previously played with everyone at the table at other cons except for two, and I had the same thing when we played together in the in Tom Wilson's game as well. I think I knew 5 of the 6 people at the table. So yeah, it's a great experience when you come together like that. Hey, my ear trumpet, thank you very much for that, your generosity there. And Gustavo Campos, you have gained a free membership from my ear trumpet. So, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you earning that. And you are welcome to join in on my Discord and just tell me that you are a new member. I will give you a member role on there, and that will allow you to gain access to some of the perks of membership. Even though it's a free membership, it doesn't matter. I pretty much don't close my doors to anybody that comes onto my Discord. I was like, hey, do you have room in the game? You're welcome to come in, room to the game. All right. So yeah. Thank you very much for that. Sorry, Dragon Slayer. Okay, not Dragonbane. Yeah. So we're talking about the same game. So, but it was very likely that you know more people at most of the tables you played at anyway. So let's see some other things coming down the pike. So there are some Kickstarters, and all of these are independent and OSR Kickstarters that are coming out soon. Some being delivered at least by virtue of their statements. They should be coming out by June. So I'm going to share that. You're going to kind of see kind of the things that I have backed recently as well. So I'm going to share, and here are my backed projects. So you can kind of see my backed projects here. I will switch views here, and let's go. So here is my backed projects. And so Singed, which was the game that we were just, Takato and I were just talking about. This is from Tom Wilson, and this is a print on demand. We should be getting this sometime soon, and that is it says estimated delivery is going to be in July. So it's already done. It's already run its course. It ends on does it end on May 8th? This is still active. So let's see how much time this has left. So this has 5 days to go. This was an absolute blast, and Ducato can give his own recounting of that as well. And this was an absolute blast. If you're familiar with the video game from the 80s, Dragon Slayer, this was the he converted that video game to an adventure and absolutely worked so well. You can see he's far above his target number. Still has 5 days to go, and it was built around Dragon Slayer RPG, which is Greg Gillespie's Dragon Slayer, but you could also use it for any other OSR system, whether it's Labyrinth Lord, early D&D, Basic Fantasy, OSRIC, I would say OSC as well. Any of those, it can certainly fit in there. And Singed, it was, it was an incredible, incredible adventure. So much fun. All of this, as you can see, the writing is complete, the cover art is complete, the interior art is complete. Everything virtually is complete. All that's left was the layout, test printing, and funding, in which it's already met its goals for funding, so it's there. But definitely check this out. It was cool. Here are the maps from Chet Minton, and you can see behind me there is my Chet Minton print that I picked up as well. Chet is an awesome guy and an incredible artist, and it was absolutely well worth both meeting him, getting that, playing in Tom's game. Absolutely incredible, and looking forward to it. So let me stop sharing there and get back to yes, you should have back Singed. You're going to be in the book, Takato. Your name's going to be in there as a play tester. Hey, RPG Grandma, how's it going? Good to see you. So OSC month launches on the 6th. If you haven't already mentioned it, I haven't yet. So so the 6th is just in a couple more days to go, and I will definitely be checking that out. There is an announcement on we're in Monster Mayhem on DriveThruRPG, and so you can get a lot of monster folios or monster manuals and such for 50% off. So I am definitely going to highlight that here during this live stream as well. So, but yeah, thanks for mentioning it, Sunshine. I will let. I'll definitely look for that when it does post, and I'll probably talk about this. Now, next Sunday, I'm not doing a stream because next Sunday is Mother's Day, so I won't be doing a stream next Sunday, or certainly not at this time of the day. I might do one like early in the morning, but for the most part, I'm not assuming that I will be doing a stream next Sunday. I will be streaming on Friday, and I'm going to have a guest, and that guest is going to be Robert S. Connolly. You've been following my channel now for the last, bit of days, about 10 days or so. I have been going through, my collection of his books, and they've been doing phenomenally well on the channel, and I'm absolutely loving this game system. I'm just going to grab the book. As you can see, even my live streams are unscripted, and I never know exactly where I'm going to go with them. The Majestic Fantasy RPG. I wish I could flip this camera around. This is an incredible game system. The more and more I'm reading into it and looking at it, I'm like, this is probably the best version of OD&D 1974 that I have seen, and it really does, I think, capture that feel for it, and then all of the other supplements that are with it. I mean, you can look at my channel now. I'm up to probably about 10 videos going through this system, and the farther and farther I go into it, the more I want to spend doing videos, just piecemealing this out to you. I'm going to go a little bit heavy into magic now. I thought I was going to wrap this whole thing up in like 5 videos, and it needs that much more. Not that it's complex, but that it's just so damn interesting that I just want to put it out there so that you can get a really good sense of this. And that's before I even get to the supplementals. So I'm going to show you this on screen as well. But Majestic Fantasy, Bat in the Attics, the Bat in the Attic blog guy, and absolutely incredible. He was recently on Tenkar's Tavern talking about an experience he had meeting Kelsey Dion, and they exchanged the books, right? He got her to sign hers. He gave her a copy of this, and just it was an absolute delight to watch him recount that experience of meeting her, and just you can see the two different generations coming together, and just experiencing together the great wealth that this hobby gives to all of us. So if you're not getting out to conventions, you absolutely should. It is even if it's a local small convention right by you, 50 people, is you're going to get addicted to going to conventions, no matter how small they are, and just the experience that you'll have going to them is well worth the time, the sometimes the expense of it, and yeah, absolutely worth it. I can't think of any other event I'd rather go to than that includes some family weddings. I'd rather go to a convention than a family wedding, to be honest with you. But it's so cool to be at that kind of an experience with this hobby. She is a very nice person. Yeah, absolutely. I've met her, and the fact that she knew who I was blew me away, and just talking with each other, and sharing some experiences. I was running her game system at page 2, so I ran it at page 1 as well, and it was just a phenomenal conversation that I did have with her, and yeah, it was a great experience. So, and Rob is a very good game master. I have played at his table. I'm looking to play at his table again at ShireCon in September, and can't wait for it. Can't wait for him to come onto the channel on Friday. So this upcoming Friday, I believe we're going to be doing around 8 p.m. ish on Friday. So it'll be great to have him on there and talk about not just what he's already published, and the fact that his recent Kickstarter is now live on DriveThruRPG, where you can get all of the resources, both PDF and physical copy, and now the hardcover is in premium color as well. So that's all available now that the Kickstarter has been fulfilled to its backers. And so now you can get everything there as well. So that's another upcoming products, and also an event, because this has been blowing up on my channel. I mean, people have been watching these videos and just jumping right into it. And those that know Majestic Fantasy are super impressed with it. I haven't had anybody say that it is not an incredibly good system. Yeah, we're gonna definitely try to get into the same game, with Robert in September. Yeah, if some of those relatives at the wedding are no fun to be around, yeah, it's and weddings are too long too. They get tiring. Not that conventions are any shorter. Believe me, I've never left a convention without losing my voice. But yeah, their conventions are just a lot more fun. So anyway, let me bring up my next thing that I'm going to be talking about, and I'm pretty sure, yeah. So let's go, because these are going to be June of 2026. So I am going to share another screen here, and getting back to my, getting back to these, I can zoom this in, I believe, for you. So there was Singed. So the next one up is Adventures Dark and Deep, Book of Fell Wisdom. Now, there was a name change to this, but it is due to come out in June 2026. So, just in a couple of a couple of months. This is, of course, from Joseph Block. Joseph is another incredible local game designer. He does everything adventures, dark and deep. He writes adventures. He did the Greyhawk. He did like a Greyhawk guide written for the DM's Guild. His game system is a what if Gary Gygax made second edition, and this is what it would look like based on the first edition, bare bones, and then moving forward with Gary Gygax's articles, whether it be in Dragon Magazine or other places. And if Gary was still with TSR, that is his projection, Joseph Block's projection of what Gary would have done with AD&D second edition. And yes, Joe does really good stuff, for great stuff, and his channel is phenomenal. What an incredible resource the Greyhawk Grognard is for just getting ideas of how to run a Greyhawk campaign. I can't wait to have Joe back on the channel again so that we can talk, we can talk up some of his upcoming projects and whatnot. But yeah, that is another up there. Pulp Drenched Cities of Cholt. So once again, another one from Venger Satanis. And this is coming out in June as well. Beacon Island Savage Worlds. I already did a video. I already received it. That came out on time. The Crumbling Keep of Kashmir, a Shadow Dark adventure. This already received. Hardcover, already have this. Absolutely beautiful. This is from Tom Wilson as well. Like I said, he is a great adventure writer. The Majestic Fantasy, I've been talking about that this whole time now. And I'm going to skip over that other one from, these are the older ones, right? Still waiting on Shadow Dark RPG Western Reaches setting. So that hopefully it comes out very, very soon, hopefully by the summertime, so I can really start digging into that. But I am going to shift now and no more on the backed projects and such. So yeah, the Shadow Dark one should be coming soon. I hope that it does. And let's see, let's get this back to normal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it comes out very soon. And let's see. I backed that AD&D book, looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be really, really cool. I love the fact that it's Adventures Dark and Deep as AD&D. So that's really cool as well. Joe also just completed a Mega Dungeon expansion on BackerKit. Yeah, so yeah, he's constantly churning out stuff. He does a great job of it. And like I said, his YouTube channel, the Greyhawk Grognard, is one that you absolutely should be following. He does adventure hooks. He does explanations. He's currently going through, a real breakdown of the Yatil Mountains and how important they are in Greyhawk lore and for adventure content and whatnot. It's just absolutely phenomenal stuff. I save most of my hypes for his channel, and then I'll look to see where else I can go to hype, other things. But he almost always gets at least one hype from me every single week. Speaking of those types of things, I am going to get ready to give out some free memberships to my channel as well. So all I have to do is get into my live stream here, and I have to tone down the sound. And I am going to give out some free memberships as well. I get 10 per month, and I usually do them in 5x5. And so there we go. I'm also going to double check my my other channel and see if there are any people following along over there. Make sure that it's actually showing over there as well. And see, yes, it is. So we are over there too. And I do have 2 viewers over there. So, you know, I will give you a shout out. All right. And come back over here. So let's see who got these. So Dave the Templar, sorry, not it's Dave the Impaler. Sorry, totally messed that up. Then Darren Pete, congratulations. P.S. Adar, Byron Rocher, and Gary Goldsmith. Well, congratulations to all of you. You can join my my Discord, which you can get at the end of any of my videos. And you're welcome to go in there. Let me know that you are a new member. I will give you that membership tag. And again, that allows you as a member to get first dibs on any openings that I have on my at my gaming table. Obviously, based on when you're available, and you can certainly jump in if I have openings. Even if I don't have an opening, if you want to just, hey, I want to pop in and maybe do like a cameo and play an NPC, you'll be welcome to do that as well. Because you can always use the extra, person in there under those circumstances. I'm currently recruiting for 2 games that I'm running. I'm recruiting for Thursday evenings at, let's say, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for Deadlands 2nd edition. I have 2 or 3 players, 3 players now. We could use a 4th and open for a 5th. And the same thing with my OSE All Dwarves campaign. I have 3 players now, 4, but I do have room for a 5th. That's on Saturday evenings at roughly 8:30. Sometimes we start at 8 o'clock. It'll be somewhere between 8 and 8:30 that we start on Saturdays as well. So that game, both games are bi-weekly, and they're never the same week. So you could potentially be in both and not get overwhelmed with too many games that you're attending during the same week, unless you're totally open to doing that kind of thing. I am looking forward to keeping those rolling at least until the very end of June. And I've already told the people in my OSC group that I will most likely continue that campaign, picking back up again in September and moving forward with that. So yeah, congratulations to all of those people as well. And wait, I can play games if I join? Yes, of course. You can play games if you join. If you join in on my Discord, you are welcome to join in my games. Let me pull up my Discord. Let me pull up my Discord, and that way I can put out the Discord invite. So I am just pulling up Discord here, and I will get my invite going. Okay, so let's see. And I was just reading, someone was saying that they're in for, what happened was, while I was waiting for people to, what is this? Sorry about that. All right, so here comes the Discord invite. So you can join my Discord. There is the Discord invite. And I'm going to just shut this Discord down so I'm not listening to it pinging the whole time. So, but there is my Discord. All right. So, yeah, So join the Discord over there, and you can definitely jump right in on any of the games that I have openings. Like I said, I'm currently having openings, or two openings, in Deadlands, and possibly one other one in my OSC game on Saturday night. So that's Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, alternating weeks. So this upcoming Thursday is going to be Deadlands, and then the following Saturday is going to be OSC. The other thing that came out of the OSC while we were waiting to get everybody in before we started the session was that one of my players is playing. He returned back to WoW Classic, and we started to just like talking, or like, hey, how cool would it be to run this, all dwarven campaign in WoW Classic? And so I kind of got suckered into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have to do it if I have a group of people and we're going to create these Stone Wardens over there on that server. Then that'll be a lot of fun. So that'll be our fallback in case not enough people show up for a game session. We're like, all right, we're just going to roll right over into WoW and mess around with that. Yeah, WoW is the game system that I just keep on going back to every once in a while, but just the WoW Classic. So I'm not a big fan of the new one. It just doesn't do it for me for whatever reason. Well, then you'd have to play the Filthy Alliance. As I know, I tend to be an orcish hunter, but Dwarf Hunter's kind of fun too. So that's probably where I'll go. Yes, I will play in the got your Discord. Thanks. Well, great. It's good to have you in there. And remember, let me know if you're you're a new member. So tell me that you're a member, and I will give you that tag. Well, and then the other opportunity, Dan, is that I will do one-on-ones, like a GM plus one in the morning hours on Eastern time, on Mondays through well, not so much Monday, but Tuesday through Friday. I'm running games in the mornings, if that works out for you as well. So I usually run them from like 9 to 11:30 ish, or 12, because I 3 days a week I do go to work, and I leave around 1 o'clock. So 9:30 to or 9 to 11:30 kind of works out, and that would be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and even Fridays. I'm actually open Fridays as well for more gaming, but I got to see how many games. I run a regular Tuesday night game as well, so I'm already up to 3 game sessions, or 2.5 game sessions, with the alternating per week as it is. And I need time to YouTube as well, and and spend some family time, and also work 3 days a week. So womp womp. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But hey, RPG Dad, how's it going? Good to see you here. And let's see. Those would work great because I work from home and my company is based on the West Coast. Yeah. So that would be awesome. So yeah, jump in there on the Discord and let me know. I do have on the Discord a tab that is talking about GM plus ones, and what game systems you would like to play in. I'm currently doing Villains and Vigilantes 2nd edition on Thursday mornings. And, if you want to jump in on there, you're certainly welcome to. I have the OGGM playing a character. He just started it. We skipped last week. And this week, I'm hoping that I shouldn't have any interruption, but there's a chance that my new air conditioning units, for the house, the central air, is going to be worked on this upcoming week. So I got to wait and see what's going to happen there. I hope it doesn't interfere with my gaming, but if it does, OGGM, if you're listening in or going to pop in or catch this later on, there is a possibility that I'll have workers in the house that I'll have to keep an eye on as they're gutting my entire central air system to replace it. It's 21 years old, so it certainly has lasted longer than it should have, but yeah, it's a big project. So anyway, I'll check out the Thursday game. Can't do Saturdays. I'm running a local game of Bushido. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome game system too. I wrote an adventure for that. So if I ever get a chance to, I'd love to play in your game, on Saturdays. But if you do a local game shop, all right, so you're not online. But I'm going to send you a copy of an adventure I wrote based on one scene from Shogun, from the 1980s TV series Shogun. So yeah, once you get into Discord, I'll send you a copy of that adventure. It was pretty good. I toned it down a little bit from the Bushido rules because they're kind of crunchy and it's been so long since I've actually played it. But I will share that adventure with you. Yeah, Bushido's such a cool game. By far the best authentic Japanese time period game that's out there. Did not get enough love, and it only has, I believe, like 2 or possibly 3 published modules for it, which you can get for free. You can get all of that stuff for free. That game company has kind of rescinded their rights to everything, so you can go onto their thing, and you can still buy them too. You can still buy physical copies, but everything else is there. So that's really cool that you can still get that stuff for free on PDF. And yeah, definitely check out Bushido. It's an awesome game system. Hey, how's it going over there? From the other server. And again, everyone, you can cross over. You can find me over on Rumble. You can find me over here on YouTube. You're welcome to cross over and follow on both. Yeah, I'm not switching from one to the other or vice versa. I'm just trying to spread it out there to get more people with their eyes on my content, whether it's on either of the two. Makes no difference to me. And going forward, that's how I'm going to be running my live streams. Like I said, very, very earlier on, I think out of like the 500 different viewers I've had over the course of 2 live streams, like 7 came from Facebook. The rest, and the majority, was from YouTube, and then the rest were from X. And so it's like, all right, forget about posting this directly to Facebook or streaming directly to Facebook. And so I kind of quasi reactivated the use of Rumble. So yeah, you can find it there. Nice. I'm Painclaw. I just entered over. Yeah. So put your other name in, like your YouTube name in there as well, just so I can connect them up. But yeah, great to see you. So many great games. Yeah, there are so many great games out there, and that's what I love the fact that when I got back into the hobby in 2015, after a 25-year break, where I was doing MMOs and other things, other gaming. I mean, I never stopped gaming, but it was all computer or console, and then MMO, and with that big explosion of MMOs around 2000 and moving forward, when I got back into the hobby again, it was not directly back to Dungeons and Dragons, which I count myself fortunate that I didn't do that. Yes, I did buy 5e in 2015, like September of 2015, but I had only played it a few times. I hadn't started running it, and I got into the OSR. I got into buying all of the games I used to have back in the back in the 70s or 80s, mostly the 80s, and because they had sold off everything, um, from around 2000 when I got married, got rid of everything in 2000. We were moving into a small apartment, didn't have room for all of that kind of stuff, and since I wasn't playing tabletop, I got rid of everything. So everything you see behind me, I have purchased since 2014, 2015. So it has only been a 6-year journey of spending thousands of dollars on just bringing back my collection that I had. So my coming back into the hobby has been very, very broad based. It's been OSR, it's been independent games, with very, very few uh, purchases amongst the big publishers there. I mean, I got the core books from the core books for D&D 5e. I got the core books for first edition Pathfinder, and essentially I did nothing really that much with them, but all the rest has been with just the games that I grew up with and really enjoyed. About 5 years ago, FGU published a 3-act campaign. It's up on drive-through. My current campaign is not based on that. All right. Cool. I have to take a look at that. But yeah, it's if I'm going to send you that adventure once we get into once I drop off of this. I'll head over to Discord, and I'll make that PDF shareable, and I'll send it off to you. You can check it out. For those of you that are interested, it's simply called. I'm not going to reveal too much about the adventure, but it's called The Pheasant. And so, if you're an old fart like myself and you remember Shogun from the 1980s, the TV series with Richard Chamberlain, then you'll know the scene of The Pheasant, and that's what the whole thing revolves around, is that one particular scene. Hey, my ear trumpet. Yes, and thank you so much for your continued support. 28 months as a valued supporter, and yes, you are truly valued. And yes, I don't pitch my memberships enough. You can join this channel on YouTube as a member for as little as like $1 a month or something like that. It's very low in comparison to others. It's certainly low, and you do get perks with that. Your perks are, I do once in a while put up something in there on the members only first, and then it comes out to everybody else. But for the most part, the big thing is that I will work around your schedule to give you an opportunity for me to run a game for you. And you can come in and say, hey, I'm available on Wednesday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Can you run this game system? And if I have the game system, I'll run it for you. Especially one-on-ones, because it doesn't take that much to put that kind of a thing together. And we will do that going forward. So yeah, it's something that I really like to do for my members, is just give you the opportunity to play. So anyway, let's see. Yes, you are very welcome. The Japanese don't like the smell of decaying pheasant. Yes, and amongst other things. I mean, that was a great TV series. As a teenager, I was like just enthralled by it. I know they redid it, and supposedly it was very good too. I just didn't get around to watching the new Shogun series, but I should get around to it soon. Another gifted membership. Thank you, my ear trumpet again, and this time it's the RPG Grandma. So the RPG Grandma, you are now a a member, and of course, you're always welcome to join any of my games. But I want to play in one of your Star Frontiers game. I know you're not currently running one, but I would love to play in your game of Star Frontiers. And RPG Grandma, you have to go check her out as well. She's one of the featured channels on my YouTube channel. So when you go to my YouTube homepage, you will see a list of featured channels, and check them all out. They're all, with the exception of one, they're all smaller YouTube channels that I'm trying to kind of signal boost. They all have something very different to bring to the table, but they're all very solidly OSR tabletop role players out there, and just check their stuff out. And let's see, that's a memorable scene. The latest Shogun TV series wasn't bad, but it still didn't feel as memorable as the old one. All right, cool. Hey Jeff, how's it going? Good to see you. So RPG Grandma, I figured I'm going to be far more active on YouTube. I shouldn't have the default first name, last name, just in case something very spicy. Yeah, I don't use my real name on YouTube yet. As you can see on my thing over here, I finally put in Richard. But it's taken a while. I've been retired now for 4 years, so my former employer can't touch me, in any way. But it's taking time to get out of using the fake name on the internet kind of thing. So and I can't change it over on Facebook. So it's unfortunately that's something that they wouldn't let me do again. I was like, oh well, you know what? It's not really, it's not really the name that I wanted to use, and they wouldn't let me do it. Way to go, my ear trumpet. Yes. Yes, I'm sure my ear trumpet is not his real name. So I'm just a chick that loves RPGs. Yes. But you're very good at laying out what Star Frontiers is, just doing a breakdown of that game system. Just incredible work that you're doing over there. And for a game system that is not, it doesn't get the recognition that I think it deserves. Probably one of the best lores of any tabletop role-playing game during that era for sure. The game system itself, being a D100, I'm not the biggest fan of the D100 system, but it actually progressively got better when it went from each iteration. So when you go from Alpha Dawn to Nighthawks to Zebulon's Guide, you're getting slight improvements across every single step that it went to. Still a very solid system, a lot of fun to play. The only quirk I had with it was that if you do not have a good cross section of skills that the player characters each will have, so they're called PSAs in that's not public service announcements, or is it a PSU? I forget what it's called. Correct me on that, RPG Grandma. But if you don't have a technician, you don't have a robotics person, you don't have a medic, you don't have a fighter, a pistolier or whatever, and you don't have somebody that's computer science, many adventures you just cannot pull off because it requires the whole team being able to do all of those different things. Then once you throw in the piloting skills and navigation skills and just operating a ship, then you need somebody who is kind of focused on all of those as well. So, it's a great system if you have everybody that's capable of doing all of those different tasks, but it falls apart when you don't. And that's my one issue with it. and it's not really built until you get to Zebulons. It's not really built as a skill system where you can buy for higher cost outside of your professional, your professional track. So anyway, my goal with Star Frontiers videos is to give everyone enough info to start playing, even though it's out of print. It is PSA. Okay. Primary skill area. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I know PSA also is a public service announcement. So I wasn't sure if I was mixing, that's not an acronym. It's, I forget what you call that too. Catch you all later. Well, you have a great one, Byron, and I'll find you on my Discord. Thanks for stopping in. Didn't Star Frontiers get canceled so that someone in TSR could engage in self-enrichment by publishing a game that didn't sell well? Buck Rogers, yeah. That's Lorraine Williams. The good old Lorraine Williams probably reared her ugly head. But I don't want to get too much into that. I'm going to stick to what we are doing. PSA about PSA. Palmetto State Armory. Yeah, my redneck is showing. Yeah. Zeb fixed something. Some things created a few problems too, but all flexible. Yes, and indeed. Like I said, it got better with each iteration of it, which was, pretty impressive actually. He most likely was correct. So let me go to, let's go to the next thing I was going to showcase. And, oh, wow, what happened over there? Next thing I was going to showcase is this sale going on at Drive-Thru and some of the other things that you'll find on Drive-Thru as well. All or 99% of them are OSR related. And so I am going to share this and go here. And so here we have it. And let's get to this one here. And I can increase this view for you. I think that does that for you. So anyway, let me switch over myself. So Monster Mayhem, up to 50% off bestiaries and monsters. So that's one thing that's going on here. And then we can go to visual feasts of your favorite games, 25% off art and making of titles. That's the making of, I guess. So art titles, some of these things, I don't even know what they are. I was really going to focus more so on, there's a lot of stuff for Cyberpunk coming out. So that's one of the featured items there that I will show you. Deal of the day is Witch Lords of Skull Mountain, the Zerovian Highlands, a DCC edition. All right, so Dungeon Crawl Classics. And we're back to the beginning here. So there is the Night City. This is actually too big for me to see. So I'm going to try to shrink this down a little bit for me. So so this is what I'm really looking into now is the Fallout Wasteland Wanderer, a solo. So there is a solo rule book out for this. It's $28 in PDF, which is a little bit steep, but I want to check the page count. It's selling really well. It's already a silver seller. 264 pages, so that's not too bad. $28 for 264 pages. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure if there is a. You can probably get the hardcover from them online and then get that as well. It probably pushing like 39 or maybe more for that. But that's certainly something that I am looking forward to. And as I mentioned, Into the Majestic Fantasy, it is now $39.99, and this is what I really wanted to show off is that oh, this is showing the actual thing here in my library. I don't want to do that. I just want to show you. I just want to show you the page. So I think I have to do it this way, though. I have to go to my library and then go to Bat in the Attic. That's what I wanted to do. And so here we have all of the stuff that I've been talking about. So Into the Majestic Fantasy, and this is the northern reaches. And so this is the expansion that I just recently picked up on Kickstarter. And so now it is available. Now it is available here. And I want to make sure that I can go to it into the fent. So yeah, that's zero. That's zero. Gosh, it doesn't let me go into it without showing what I already have. Yeah, it keeps on going to. Just check it out. I'm sorry about that. It's not going to let me show you what you can purchase it for and whatnot, but it's there. It is now available on Drive-Thru RPG. Both you can get the physical copies, including hardcover, and you can get the PDFs as well. So definitely check that out. So let's see. I have one more thing that I wanted to do as far as talking about upcoming events. Coming up very, very soon. Yes, it did it better and kept on improving. Yes. So here's another event. So this is an event coming up. I had spoken to Rob Meisker at Rising Phoenix, and we talked about his new convention coming up. And so I'm going to share that with you now. And this is the last of the things I will be sharing with you tonight. And then I'm going to open up the floor for you to talk about any other things. So the Tabletop Gaming Gathering, May 29th to the 31st, 2026 in Vineland Convention Center, Vineland, New Jersey. So this is a new convention that he is running. He, of course, created the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. They just wrapped up their third year. That is in Philadelphia, obviously, or just on the outskirts of Philadelphia. Really great convention. I've been to two of them already. I couldn't go this past January, but here's another one in May, and it's a smaller convention, but certainly I have a feeling it's going to grow very, very fast as well. And he already has a number of special guests and everything. And yeah, it just gives you an opportunity to go to a very well-run, smaller convention. But like I said, his conventions seem to grow really fast. So if you can catch this, catch it while it's still small, and we'll see how fast this does grow. On such short notice, I really couldn't commit to this one, but I will be looking at it for next year, and definitely give it a shot next year. This is still like a 4-hour trip for me, so it's certainly an overnight stay for me as well, and I'll probably limit the number of overnight stays I do next year. So that's going to be one that I'm definitely going to take a look at. So that is the last of my shares. So Bloodworth, I think you need to scroll past the file listing to get to the product descriptions. Yeah, maybe that's yeah. I was trying to get it to the page where it shows you how much it would cost you to buy them, and it wasn't letting me do that. I think even if I got past the product description, it wasn't going to show you the pricing of it. So there's another way I could probably do that and get around that. I'll certainly look to do that later. You know what I would have to do is I'd have to not be in my account and then show you those pages. That's the only way I can avoid it bringing up my file library for what I've already bought. So yeah, that would have been a way to do that. So anyway, I'm going to open things up for you to join in if you wish, and so let's see, invite guests. So if you're willing to, if you want to jump in and talk about any upcoming products that you have your mind on, any events that you're going to be, going to, any trends that you're noticing in the hobby. I know I've left out a few. I'm not seeing as many people talking lately about the big YouTubers supposedly, stepping away from their channels, the dungeon tubers, as they're often called. And I think for the most part, most of those individuals, they're still doing short videos. They haven't walked away. They're still there. I think maybe on like one or two of those examples, it was just to, hey, I'm leaving, and then, a couple weeks later, they're still right there. They never left and never, oh, I've been told to come back. I've been told not to leave. Not to leave. Please don't leave. Come back. And that's really pretty lame. Hey, Ducato, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. You are the D today. So
Let's see. Why? Well, let me see if I can fix that somehow.
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There
Oh,
you
well, I didn't really fix it. That's awful.
are. You're like in a blue. You're in a purple haze.
Yeah, my hippie hangout area.
you, you, you have the bisexual lighting behind you.
Yeah,
Shauna would be proud.
yeah. Just trying to appeal to a wider demographic.
So good to see you, and yeah, we are so excited about about crossing paths over at CNY. I'm happy to be wearing the last year's shirt, and I know I have to pick up this year's shirt. I'm just waiting
So
to
do I.
see. I'm waiting to see. I'm gonna tell them. Listen, I'm not gonna buy it until I get there. So save a 1X or a 2X on the side, because I don't know what size I'm gonna be when I get there. So it was like
Yeah, it's true.
it's like
True. I
you know
remember what I
I
have to
have
dig
been
mine
trimming
out.
down, and so it's like, oh, you know what? I'm not 3X anymore. You
Oh,
know,
that's good.
so I'm kind of pretty much fitting into about three sizes smaller in pants, and I've lost
Nice.
about 50 pounds over the last 10 months. You
That's
know,
good.
so yeah, it's been good getting eating better, getting a little exercise, getting the diabetes under check, and that's what's really been helpful
Yeah,
is getting
yeah,
that under check.
yeah. I had a guy I worked with that had diabetes, had it since he was a kid, and he's super active. Like especially during hunting season, he's always in the woods, walking around, hiking, doing all sorts of stuff. And I
Yeah,
mean, he just can't shed weight, but all the complications that come with that can come with that, is,
yeah,
tough to overcome sometimes.
yeah. Oh, so the RPG Grandma brings up, so currently game balance seems to be on the OSR spin the wheel cycle.
Oh
I have
God.
noticed I have to hunt down channels that AI and YouTube keeps pushing things I'm not interested in. So yeah, game balancing and everything. I mean, Ducato, like when you're running your games, I mean, when you're creating, if you're creating a scene, I mean, are you sitting there thinking like, oh, I got to make sure that this is a balanced kind of
No, I mean,
or
no. It's usually, um, yeah, that's not really like I have a pretty good gauge. I mean, because I play with the
Mhm.
same group of people.
Right?
They got long running characters. So I have a pretty good gauge of what they can handle. But that, I mean, I throw stuff in the last session, not the last session, because that was all role playing, but the session before, we had a pretty big fight,
Yeah.
a really big fight, actually. And that I think everybody at the table at one point thought that, you know, all the characters were going to be killed, because we had
Yeah.
one, like our cleric went down to like -6,
Hmm.
and it was a really tough fight for them.
Right.
And part of that was because we were light on players. Like, we were supposed to have at least we were supposed to have one more player, then they bailed at the last minute and couldn't
Mhm.
make it. So it was just three of them, and I didn't change anything,
Right.
And they had stuff working their advantage, though, that,
Right.
like, the spells that the enemy was using, I didn't have the range for, so that they didn't really get hammered too hard with that stuff.
Right.
And then the cleric, before he went down, actually hit the spellcaster with hold person, and I totally failed that save. So, like, they only had to deal with the big monster that was there
Hmm.
too, and they two of the characters, a PC and an NPC beat the heck out of the spellcaster, dropped him quickly because he couldn't do anything, and then they joined in fighting the big monster. But it was a really tough fight. But I don't sit there and juggle numbers or any of that stuff. It's
Mm.
just, it is what it is. And sometimes
Yeah.
I clearly put things in there sometimes that, and my players are pretty smart. They're like, yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
outside we're hitting way
Yeah.
above
Yeah.
our weight here. So, like, we're not going to do this, and they'll find another solution.
Yeah. I'm in pretty much the same, the same mindset. It's like I have a good, I can read the situation, as it's happening. And like in my Tuesday night game, it's a Dragon Slayer campaign, and you know, the one player, he took an item and he tried to identify it, and it was an evil holy symbol, so and he, like, his identification, he like fumbled it, right? He rolled the natural one, and I was like, ooh, that's actually a pretty cool idea. I can have this thing summon, you know, summon some random monsters from that,
Sure.
from that random monster thing. And I'll say, I'll make sure that it's one of the forms of undead. And so it's some of them. Now they're a party of their third and fourth level, so they can handle pretty much. And I went to that, that particular chart that was, the third and fourth level chart and everything. And it brought in some undead, and but they were 7 hit die undead. At first, like when I first looked at it, because it was totally random, so I was like, all right, let me just pull this and throw the thing out there. And I'm looking through it, and I was like, all right, I'm about to drop 4 of them down there, and I'm dropping them down, and I'm looking at the stat block and everything. I was like, oh shit, that's not 7 hit points. That's 7 hit die. I was like,
Hmm.
they cannot handle 4 7 hit die monsters. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I changed that, and they, it was a challenge for them, but it wasn't an over challenge. But I did that editing, you know, immediately as soon as I realized. I was like, oh crap,
Yeah.
this is, that was not 7 hit points, it was 7 hit die. I'm gonna, alter this a little bit for them. There was another situation the week before, prior to, where they had to adjust their tactics because they could see that their tactics, they weren't fully being able to utilize their full party, because they allowed themselves to get pulled into a funnel, and
Yeah.
they were like, oh crap, you know what, like, they're not hitting us, but we're really not hitting them either. And this is getting like slowly drawn out, and we're depleting our magic spells and everything, just trying to get through this. And then they were like, let's back up a little bit and let the rest of the party kind of engage in it.
Yeah.
And that's when it,
Let's
it
get everybody
finally
involved.
started to. So it's like, if you're trying to artificially balance, what's going on, they'll never have to think. They'll never have to think about
Yeah. No.
tactics. Yeah, they'll never have to think, oh shit, we got to run,
Yeah.
rather than try to fight this thing. And I think you lose so much when you're
Yeah.
dealing with balance.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
I
balanced.
agree. I stopped doing that stuff. I mean, I ran a lot of fifth edition. The fifth edition balancing was broken as far as like the CR tables and stuff. So I quickly threw that stuff all away and just ignored
Yeah,
it. And again, went with that gauge of like, okay, I know what they can handle. And I mean, but sometimes I threw stuff at them that I knew they couldn't handle, and it's up to
yeah,
them to like I said, either run away or come up with a
yeah,
different tactic. Just trying to make them think, a little bit more and get away from such a mechanical way of, you know, doing
yeah,
things. Ugh, don't
yeah.
like it.
It's
It's a tough habit to break though. I just had a thing. My group has a little Discord server. It's just our group, and I started a play by post game on there, and I'm running Cult of the Reptile God for like
mhm,
three of my players,
right.
and we're using Dragon Slayer for it,
Hmm.
and they're dealing with somebody, and one of my players puts a message because we have another section that's for all out of game
Hmm.
chatter. And he was like, "Oh, is there like a roll I can make?" Like he's trying to make like basically a perception check to see if the guy was lying to them. And I was like, "No," I said that doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah,
do you think he's lying? If so, why? And now it's up to you to prove that he's lying.
right.
Like, not just rely on a
Yeah,
dice roll to
yeah,
determine that. Like,
right.
super hard habit to break. I had a coming from fifth edition into Castles and
Hmm.
Crusades. It was very, it took me a long time to stop just asking for rolls all the time for stuff because that's what fifth edition did. So, yeah, it took a long time to break that habit.
Yeah, it's something that I learned that like one of the first time I tried to create a scenario on D&D Beyond, and I was like, all right, it's a party of 5 first level characters, and I'm going to have them fighting um, something like five goblins and one lieutenant, which was like a second level goblin, a 2 hit die goblin, and it moved that challenge rating to like a bright red, like
Yeah,
total party kill. I was like, how could that possibly be
yeah,
the scale? It went from, as soon as I left and I added that 1 2 hit die goblin, because what are they supposed to do in that situation? Which one appears to be the leader? All right, everybody take him out first,
right.
and then you let the
Taking advantage.
morale system work, to sort out the rest.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just like, that was one of the other things that turned me away from 5e. I was like, if this is how they consider using the challenge rating, I was like, then that's a totally broken system, because
Yeah.
you're going to always naturally, especially for a new game master, you're going to avoid creating situations that are that bright red. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's like,
Yeah.
it,
I had the same experience. Like I tried using that right out at the beginning, and all of my encounters went into the red, and I was just like,
yeah.
well, I don't need this thing. I can do
Yeah,
this on
it's
my
like,
own.
yeah.
So I just
I was like,
chucked
no,
it.
let the,
And then later on, I actually saw a video where Mike Merles was talking about it, and he said that system was broken, like it didn't work
yeah,
right. And I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's great. I'm glad it's like a huge component of the game. I'm glad you guys
yeah.
shoved that out there. That's
It's
cool."
like,
So I was just like, I actually think, and I said because I was in my group, I was the early advocate for getting away from fifth edition because I ran it more than everybody else. We had other full-time DMs, but like I was running it, for my home group, two different campaigns at our gaming store and stuff like that. So I had run it a lot, and I was very an earlier advocate of like we need to get away. I need to get. I didn't say we. I said I. I just
yeah,
don't like this. I just kept finding more stuff
yeah,
I didn't like, and that was a big thing. Like, but I've said that, like when that stuff came out in third edition, and I was like,
yeah,
it's a horrible rule. Like challenge rating is a horrible rule. Like because it gives
yes,
people a expectation
yeah.
that things can be beaten, and that's
It's
not always
another one
the
of
case.
those systems that, and that's why, when I look at it, I was like, um, Mike Merle should have seen the flaws in 5e that he put there intentionally. I mean, he should have seen the flaws you know, in in the short rest, the
Yeah.
flaws
Oh,
in you know, and even long rests or death saves, and having 3 death saves before your character can die. You know, you have to
Yeah.
fail all 3 of them before you know, talk about just putting in too many dice rolling to begin with. You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot of dice roll. Yep.
You know, and then you go into, you know, the action economy, and it's like, oh, you get the, you know, all of these things and counter moves, and and
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh yeah.
all right, I'm fighting 7 goblins, you know, for a party of 5, and it's taking us an hour and a half. All right, where in any other OSR or D&D game, we'd get through that thing in 15 minutes. You know,
Yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
like it literally multiplying the length of time it takes by tenfold is crazy, you know, and it
Well,
should be
the problem is
obvious.
I don't I mean, I know it got play tested, but I know for a fact, like, because he said it, and I think it was on Twitter, that like the high level stuff, they never play tested that. Like
Yeah,
they didn't have time. Like they just, put it out. And I've played and run 5e campaigns that went to high level, and I, I don't, and I can't fully fault 5e for this because I don't think a
mm,
lot of D&D systems really survive well at high level. I think there's a reason why in older editions of the game, or even some current, iterations of the game, like you're a lord at 9th level. There's a reason for that, in my opinion. It's
yeah,
because they expect you to retire, like,
yeah,
and it just they fall apart.
mm,
That's why, like, I think, like, I never asked him. Maybe I will the next time I see him. But
mm.
like Hyperborea, for example, like, what's that go to, like, 14th, 12th level, I think.
Yeah, 12th, I believe 12th.
12th and you're done.
Yeah,
And I think that's, in my opinion,
that's
that's
pretty
probably
good
why.
actually, you know,
You know?
that's pretty good for most. I mean, yeah, we took our AD&D when we were teenagers, we took it up to 18th, you know,
Yeah,
and but for the most part, I mean, if you're doing a multi-year campaign, then 20 is fine. But you're
yeah.
not starting at 5, and then you know, within
No,
10 months you're 20th level, which is
no, no.
exactly how they run their games. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's
they're
such
not
a much
even
slower
developing their
crawl. Like,
characters, you know, forward. Like I looked at the new actual play from Wizards of the Coast, right? Whatever that
oh
thing is.
yeah, I haven't watched it.
I watched it for like 10, 15 minutes, you know, just to see. And again, they're all starting out at 5th level. I was like, it's I don't think that they understand what it looks like, you know, from somebody looking from the outside in and looking at a game company that has a product, and they're saying that their product sucks below level 5. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, I
like,
don't know if they wanted to just showcase more things, but I know, like, my guys, we've done that. Like, I don't like to do that. I never start like a regular campaign. One shot's fine or whatever, but like
yeah,
I rarely ever give them levels to begin
yeah,
with, you know. And for the most part, my guys don't like it anyway because because they didn't grow into their character. So, all of a
right,
sudden they get
yeah,
this 5th level character slapped on top of you, or God forbid, even higher, and you're like, I don't really even know how they work. Like,
yeah. I
so
did that with my current Dragon Slayer campaign. I had a couple players like, oh, we're, you know, because they've been with me for a long time. We've done a number of long campaigns. We've always started characters at 1st level, you know, and I had one definite, and you know, maybe another one was like, kind of, you know what, it would be nice not to start off at the very, very bottom again, you know. So I was like, all right. So I had everybody start off with 4,686 or something like that. I did basically the average of what it
yep,
would be to be a 3rd level character. And some people ended up being almost 4th, and the rest were 3rd, and then maybe 1, like the paladin was 2, right? 2nd level. So I was like, all right, I'll
yeah,
start with that.
will
And
be.
I think even though the campaign, like I said, these were my most experienced players with me, for years, at that point. And I still have that sense that they never really got into their characters. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't start at first level, they really didn't get there.
Yep.
And they're still there even after 15 weeks of playing. They're still not like fully into their characters the way that they were in my AD&D campaign, or our AD&D campaign, I should say, where they started at first level and they just worked all the way up through. And it was the AD&D pace of leveling too. So
Yep.
it literally took them 2 years and 3 months to get some characters, like the druid was 11th level, but druids level fast in that, and it
Yeah.
still took her 2 years and 3 months to get there. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yep.
were, they were facing some pretty significant challenges, got huge treasure hoards here and there, a couple dragons killed along the way, and so dragon treasures along the way. Fought some demon lords along the way with, Robert Kuntz adventure that they went through.
Oh God.
Um, so they, but they developed, like, their characters were just so full, and
Yeah.
it was,
I and the thing of it is too is like from what I've seen, like when they start at first level, people will come in and they'll have maybe a little bit of a like expectation of what their character is going to become or whatever, and then but through actual play, that can really change and go in different directions, and they get a chance to like grow into that character. Um, and you don't get that as much, like you said, if you start it
yeah.
giving them levels to begin with. And I try to, I mean, my Dragon Slayer thing that I'm doing online, I did start them at third level
Mm.
only because there's only 3 players. So I
Yeah.
wanted them to be a little bit beefier.
Right.
We didn't have to
Well, yeah,
worry
you're
about,
you're going to alter the situation based on a number of players you have as well.
yeah.
I did that with my V&V, where it's just me and one player, right? And I was like, no,
Yep.
no, no, I don't want you to have just two or three powers. Nope, you have to have six. You're going to have a weakness too. You can't trade off two powers to get rid of the weakness. I want you to have six powers and a weakness, and I want you to pick your powers, because I want your character, even at first level, to be powerful, because you're going to be alone.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
not part of a
You
team.
gotta
You're not going
fend
to
for yourself.
this, and so, you know, that's adjustments that you have to make. To address that issue of balancing, if you want to call it that. The only balancing I do is first level, you're starting with maximum hit points.
Yeah, I
I'm
do
not
that
going to
too.
have you go out there with
Every
one
game.
hit point. That's to me is just it was always a flaw. It should have never been done. It should have always
Yeah.
been a rule right from the get-go. You
Yep.
start off with maximum hit points for your character class. I
Yep.
mean, a magic user is still going to get killed with one good short sword thrust. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's not that, it's not that much of a safety
Hell,
net
even
that you're giving
depending
them.
on their
And thieves back
constitution,
then only had
if their
four hit die
constitution's a
also,
junk, they're going to
do
survive
four
a
hit
deck.
die also.
Yeah, I've always done that too,
Yeah,
regardless of the game I'm running. It's always max HP. We used to
yeah,
do when we were kids. It was kind of once we matured a little bit and like actually thought about it, it didn't make any sense. But I used to always do max HP at every level. But then I turned around and gave the monsters max HP. So I'm like, well, we're not
yeah.
really. It's kind of like, so we stopped doing that. We do something I actually picked up from the Glass Cannon crew when they were running their first Pathfinder campaign, and we roll. They get max HP at first level, and then every level after that, they're gonna roll, and I'm gonna roll, and they're gonna take the better. That way, they
Oh,
never get like a one or anything, and it's always
yeah,
fun because they're like, they're like, oh, I got a 7. In a tie, you have to re-roll. So
yeah.
if we both rolled max, which has happened, you have to re-roll it, and then whoever's got the better. But that one can be tough. I mean, I was playing in the Shadow Dart game I was in, my Goblin Wizard that I played. I rolled a 1 3 levels in a row. I think I played him until 8th level and the campaign ended. He survived, but
Yeah.
I think I had 15 hit points.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of brutal. I can
yeah, it's
definitely
tough.
get that.
It's
Um,
tough.
yeah,
And I
so yeah, so I mean those kinds of things. So balancing, if you're not doing that mentally yourself while you're you're managing, because that's what a game master is, right? You're a
yeah,
manager. You're managing the situations. You're making
yeah,
sure that you know yeah, sometimes you're going to let the you're going to let it play out as it plays out. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I roll all my dice rolls, even on the internet, I'm rolling my dice rolls in, in view, so
yeah,
they see my rolls, so when I roll, and I'll wince every time I roll a natural 20. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
like the last game
I
I wrote so many of them, it was like, holy shit, it was like I was just rolling them, they were just coming off, and I was like, because I hate to see my players' characters die, but
yeah, I'm the same way.
it happens,
I, yeah, I'm the
and
same way.
that's just part of the thing. It's like sometimes it has nothing to do with balancing. It just that's where the dice comes in, you
Yeah,
know.
I I don't. The only reason I don't roll in front of my players is just because of our table setup. Because usually
Yeah.
I have like a bunch of crap out there, and
Well, yeah,
terrain and miniatures and
you
stuff.
have actual
And
things on your table.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got all sorts of stuff in the way.
Yeah.
Like it would be actually
I'm on
very
a
difficult for me to
VTT,
do that.
so I can do the dice rolling, and they can see it in the comments section.
Yeah,
So
but I typically I roll a little bit better as a game master most sometimes, but
mm,
I roll horribly as a player. But like my guys, I mean, we've all been playing together for years. So like, if I was cheating, I would be rolling. My dice rolls would be a lot better than they normally are.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, they,
yeah,
yeah, we do that, and yeah, I think that's good. I will, and that's what I tell them, like, because I'll roll a 20, and I cheer because typically my rolls are so bad, but what I have to remind them sometimes is like it may not seem like it, but I am actually like pulling for the characters.
mm,
Like I'm hoping they succeed because
right,
I get attached to them just as much as the
yeah,
players do.
yeah,
I like the story. I'm blessed to have really good players that really dig into their characters and do a lot of cool, fun things with it and immersive things with them
yeah.
and I don't want, I want to see that stuff come to fruition. Doesn't mean I don't kill them off if it happens, but I'm bummed when it happens.
Yeah, I know I was going to highlight this comment here. So I want role playing to be done more than haggling over prices in town. I have adopted the idea for my upcoming campaign for certain. There's no shopping during game time. You tell me what you're looking for. I'll tell you in between game sessions whether or not your character found it. You're doing something in between game sessions, and so that's how I'm handling that. Don't come during a game session and say, "Oh, can I go to the store and buy this?" Nope. We're right into adventure mode now.
Yeah, I
And I want to handle that all outside of the game table time.
yeah,
I'll let you go on that.
I
Yeah.
do like a combination of that actually. Like, um, we don't believe, but there are certain like people they go to get some stuff from,
Mhm.
healing potions. Because I don't let. I mean, they can buy healing potions, but that's about it
Right.
for magic. And there's one woman that they go to. It's actually a relative to one of the player characters. It's his grandmother, and they go there. And but she's kind of an important NPC too in the campaign. So that one. But then there's other times like one of the wizard. They were in the city. He's like, "Hey, I just want to go buy new clothes," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can do that." But we don't do anything with it. Like I don't have anything. You know, I want to interject. But they went and bought the dwarf went and bought he wanted a mount because they travel a lot. So I introduced this NPC and he got to meet him and get history and stuff like that. But the like mundane shopping, I'm like, yeah, I don't belabor that. We're
Yeah.
not haggling over hand axes and
Right. Yeah. If they, yeah,
Whatever
when
makes sense.
I think in our last session, they were like, "Oh, can I buy it?" I was like, I just hand wave that stuff. I
Yeah,
said,
I
"If
do
it's
the same
a common
thing.
item, you bought it. Well,
Yeah,
how much is it gonna? I don't even care. You know,
yeah,
I'm going to
same
worry
way.
about 5 silver pieces. You just got 500 gold pieces. I'm not
Yeah.
worrying about 5 silver pieces. Don't.
Well, that,
I said, money becomes almost irrelevant
yeah,
in my
it does.
games. You
It
know,
does. I think that's inherent to a lot of like games is over time because especially games that do XP for gold, you're
right?
going to wind up with a lot of gold. I mean, I have had times where characters were not broke, but they didn't have a lot of money despite their level because they spent something. They bought something. Like my
Yeah.
son's ranger saved up for to have this ankeg that they killed. He took the
Mhm.
shell of it and he wanted it made into armor, so we did that out of like the old Baldur's Gate video
Right.
game, and that cost him a lot of money. So
Yeah.
he had to save. He's built his Ranger fort, like his
Yeah.
and that cost him a lot of money. But he doesn't have anything to spend money on other
Have a
than
good
healing.
night, Valamir. I'm sorry. Have a good night, Valamir. Yeah, I'll check out that stream a little bit later. So yeah, Sunday nights is always a packed out thing for streams. So that's why I start
Yeah,
at 7 o'clock and you know go through. If we roll over into something else, we roll over into something else. But yeah,
um,
that was a hoot to
Mark
play.
Mark the
Um,
Shark there has a question. He said he heard virtual dice rollers are flawed, and any experience with that? I will say
they yes,
yes.
yep, yep,
Agreed.
yes. They
100%.
You have to go with what goes in the chat box because the dice animation will sometimes show different number than what comes up in the chat box. So I only use it. I don't use the animation, especially on Roll20 because sometimes that glitches out too, and
Yeah.
then you have to refresh your whole thing. And yeah, so I don't do the
We
animated dice.
when we played online during like COVID and even after, because we had two campaigns that got started and we wanted to finish them, we ended up, I think it was a slow shift, but then ultimately we all went back to actually using real dice. It was just the honor system. It's all my home gaming group just spread out. So we were like we used D&D Beyond, that dice roller sucked. And then Roll20 was tough. But when I played Call of Cthulhu during COVID, we used the Roll20 one. We did use the roll
Yeah.
because we played on Roll20, but we didn't
Yeah.
use the animation.
Yeah, I
Um,
like Roll20 just for its simplicity, and you don't have to use all of its bells and whistles. Actually, you're probably better off not
you're better off
using
not.
all of its bells and whistles
Yeah,
because
you're better
they're
off not doing it.
they're broken.
Yeah, and they
Much of them
glitch
are
out
broken, but
sometimes.
it's the easiest VTT to use.
Yeah, by far. I have a
Yeah,
good friend of
by
mine.
far it's the easiest to use.
Yeah, he's been messing around with
The
Foundry and he
only thing I
liked how the
wish
features were
the only thing I wish
super
Roll20
intense.
did allowed you to do was to connect your games to each other. So like if I created a whole tokens page and I have all of my 50 tokens in there
Yeah,
already, let me export just that page over into all of my games.
instead of doing it for each game. Yep.
Instead of having to do it for each and every one of them, because you
Yeah,
can't even copy and then switch to another and paste. So allow that across the board. I guess no, you can't create folders in your thing to do that either. So it doesn't even help to create a folder. It's all on the same freaking computer. Let me just share content
yeah.
from one game session to another.
I ran online games, but for a little bit at the beginning of COVID, but I didn't use Roll20. I just used we used Zoom, and then I just used Zoom, but then I ran it like it was my home table, and I had my iPhone set up also, and that would be on like the table. So I'd have, if I had terrain and stuff out,
Yeah.
that would be that, and then we would just do it that way because I didn't have the brain power to try to figure out
I'm
Roll20.
wondering now if you copied your tokens and you put them onto a different file outside of Roll20, then you can just copy them from there and import them all in. I think you have to keep on downloading all of them over and over again. Yeah, that's
That's
something they got to
nonsense.
fix. It's definitely
That's
something they have to
nonsense.
fix.
Especially as you would think,
Mm.
as much as it gets used, that they would come up with like better ways to like smooth it
Yeah,
out a little bit, but it just doesn't seem that way. I haven't used it in years, so I guess
yeah.
I shouldn't really comment. But when I was a player on it, it was just, ugh, I did not enjoy it.
Into a mall experience. Yeah. Yeah, let's go shopping. Yeah. No, we don't fall into, you know, my players aren't going on shopping sprees. They're not they're not finding the ingredients for onion soup. They're they're
Mhm.
not visiting the barista for, a cup of coffee before they have exams in their school. None of that stuff. They're adventuring. It's like they're actually going on an adventure that's going to have an impact on the world, or at least their small portion of the world as they understand it, and there's going to be risk and reward based on that. Yeah, please make it stop. Yes,
Yeah,
no mission is shopping. Please make it stop.
none of my. I am very lucky.
No,
None
I've
of my
never had
players
anything
are into
like
that.
that. I try to make every session have a little bit of exploration. And my definition of exploration is a combination of things. You're exploring the world, right? You're not just traveling. You're learning things. You're learning things about the world, or you're learning things about, the characters that you meet. You're learning things about the monsters that you encounter. So it's not like, oh, I just killed this orc. All right. I'm going to make sure that you learn things from having killed that orc. You might see that this one has an insignia on it that the last orc didn't have,
Yep.
and maybe that will become something that's important. Or when they kill this like strange creature, like they kill a carrion crawler. Um, I mean, my players have always been like, I want to cut some pieces out of this thing. I want to inspect them and I want to see what I can learn from them. Maybe there's an ingredient for a magic potion that can come from pulling the teeth out of this thing. I've always let them freaking you know,
Yep. I
harvest
do
the
the same
kills for
thing.
whatever reason, you know, um, you know, yeah, you could be trying to carve the eye out of a dead Umber Hulk, and then you suddenly become confused because even
Yeah.
maybe in death, it still has a little bit of resonance
Residual.
left in the eyes, and so it's all right.
I
They can
have
do the next three turns. Um,
one of the characters in our Crusades campaign is a dwarven fighter, but his background is basically he came from a family of like chefs, and
yeah,
he's always like trying to harvest stuff, and
yeah,
he does a great job because like the players buy into it, and they're like he'll find like the most god awful ingredients
yeah,
and like, oh, I'll make this. And
yeah,
then but what we do though is like when they're resting, if he has the opportunity, he can cook a meal, and he comes up with all this stuff himself, and
yeah,
there's some sort of like tangible benefit to his meal.
yeah,
um when he's able to do it. Like it'll
yeah.
give a small bonus in some regard. It's really interesting. And he took that all. I thought I was gonna have to. The cat's going nuts. I thought I was
Yeah.
gonna have to do a lot of the lifting on that, but he does it all. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But
I was playing
yeah.
my kobold fighter in Barrows and Borderlands and in Shadow and Sons game. I was playing him the same way. He was eating everything that he killed. Just taste testing and everything. Oh, how did that taste to me? Oh, it tasted really good. I killed like some giant centipede or worm thing or something. And he was like, he rolled a 20. It was like, that's the best thing you've ever tasted in your life. Or I was like, I'm going to look for more of these things. And I just made it I don't care about what the rest are doing. My character, who had a very low charisma, so perfectly played well into his charisma being that low, as, oh no, he's going to focus on trying to find more things to eat in this room. And you can worry about looking for the clues to the next step of the thing. And it just worked, you know. And it's great to have players that do that same thing where, they you get all kinds of shenanigans, and shenanigans are a lot of fun, especially when they're very organic, when they just come
Yeah.
out role playing.
Yep. I agree. Like, and there's so much like that character in particular that has that chef background. Like, he just adds so much, you know, not forced comedy to the game when you need it. Like, he just the way he plays them very well, and everybody else kind of buys into it too. So like, they don't want to, they'll eat what he prepares, but they're all like, oh God, what is this made out of?
I'm pretty sure there is a merchant class in D&D. All right, it's just not in 5e. There's
There's one
got to
in
be one in Dragon Magazine.
yeah, probably
There's got to be. I'm going to look it up now. So
Dragonbane RPG has a merchant class, which is an excellent game if somebody has not played it. I think that class is interesting because they can basically sniff out, like, if they're in a dungeon, like where
okay,
the most
so
valuable treasure is or something.
so published in, now don't take this as gospel because we ran into this problem during my game, because AI found it. Published in Dragon Magazine 136, designed for first edition AD&D. There is a merchant character class. So
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Like, it sounded like something that was in Dragon
yeah,
Magazine.
I wouldn't be shocked if there was definitely one there. So yes, it is there, or most likely there. And yeah, there's virtually nothing that you can imagine that wasn't printed in Dragon Magazine and eventually made its way into first edition. First
Yeah,
edition has to be one of the most expansive, and I know some people will attack me for saying that, but there was something written by some of the most brilliant creative minds in tabletop role-playing games, written in those Dragon magazines. And did they all make it to Unearthed Arcana? No, because it was just so much. There should have probably been about 3 Unearthed Arcanas, or just grab a hold of the best of Dragon magazines, which there were 5 of
yeah.
those, and you'll get so much stuff that was in. That's why I absolutely love AD&D First Edition, but AD&D First Edition requires Dragon Magazine.
Yeah, well, there's so much, like you said, there's so much stuff. Like, I have a large tote that's full of Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine, and White Dwarf. And
Yeah.
every once in a while, like, I want to get like magazine boxes so I can actually go through them on a more regular basis, because I go through them every once in a while, and I'm always just like amazed. I'm like, oh my God, like there's so much like resource there to pull
Mhm.
from. Um, that magazine, man, I remember that was so good back in the
Yeah.
day.
No, they do not sell their they don't sell their back issues of Dragon Magazine. I don't even think in PDF, right, on drive-through. I don't think they
No, I've
do,
never seen it.
but you can find them archived online, you know, or you can grab a hold of the CD-ROM, that I picked
I
up.
have
It was
that.
all, what, 250,
The first
all
250. Yep.
250 issues of Dragon Magazine, and
Yep, I have that. I don't have the means to actually open it and look at it, but I have it.
I was working on I had a separate DVD reader that that I could plug in, and then it suddenly either the DVD reader stopped or the disc stopped. But
Yeah.
you can find them online, and as long as you're not printing them and selling them, it's not piracy, in my opinion. It's not piracy. You're using it as an archive. I don't,
Yeah, if I could buy it, I would, but
yeah.
I'd have to hunt it down, I guess. Yeah, it was a good resource, though. It was so much
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff in there.
yeah. A lot of good stuff in there. A lot of crazy stuff too. Like a lot of stuff that
Oh
was like,
yeah,
wow, that's a really cool class. But it's like the Time Lord. We used the Time Lord once. The thing was so overpowered. It was crazy, but it was a lot of
yeah.
fun. A great NPC. to come
Yeah, they
across.
did. They did a lot of like one of my most influential, I guess, or stuck with me, I guess, the most was they had this great article about the half ogre, and ever since then, I mean, I read it as a
Yeah,
kid. I've always loved that race for whatever reason. I've allowed it. And actually, there is one in my CNC, not a regular player, but one of their like extra characters is a half ogre. Um, I've had ones as NPCs, prominent NPCs in different games, but they had also stuff. I remember they had like an archer class, they had a bandit class, they had tons
yeah,
of stuff. Redid the bard before, you know,
yeah.
any of the books did it.
Yeah, I actually have here. I also came up with a hit for Dragon number 62, Magic for Merchants by
Oh,
Leonard Lakofka. And
Kafka.
and so another article in there where um, it's showing various cantrips. I guess they included cantrips in this point too. So this one would have been before Unearthed Arcana. So I don't see a date on here yet when this came out. Um, Advertisement for Aftermath. It's like just seeing the advertisements and everything are awesome too. But
Oh yeah, like I
yeah,
used all those ads, and then you go in the
yeah,
back, and they had the cartoon, comic
yeah,
strips and stuff.
yeah,
Those were great.
yeah.
But
So
you can
anyway,
actually you can find it. They have Larry Elmore's Snarf Quest run you can buy in one book.
oh really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't. That's probably pricey now, but yeah,
Yeah,
I loved all that stuff as a kid. As an adult, I still love it. But it was I never had um, not really a subscription to Dragon, but my friend that I've gamed with since we started gaming together for the most part, and he did, and I used to love going to his house, and
yeah,
just pour through his Dragon magazines, and then I
yeah,
started getting.
yeah. My friend Adam, who was our second DM for he had the subscription for Dragon magazine, but we usually just went to the store and he would buy them, because the hobby shop carried them all the time, and so it was, but he bought them all. I was the poor kid of the group, so
That
I,
was me.
I was always the
Yeah,
last to own anything. I was always,
yeah,
both my first DM, his parent, his father was a doctor, like a surgeon or something like that. So very
yeah.
well to do. And, they have my other DM, his father was an engineer for Pan Am.
Oh,
So
great.
and very high up engineer for Pan Am. So he was, I mean, they were all well to do. And here I was, the son of a roofer, which is basically,
Yeah.
didn't buy anything. Like the first thing I bought was the magenta box, of D&D. I was like, oh, cool. And then eventually, after a while, I got, my first three, AD&D books. But prior to that, it was always their stuff and always using their stuff. Um,
Yeah, I bought I didn't get I got the one, I always mix up the names. I got the red box, like the
mhm.
red Larry Elmore cover.
Yeah,
That was my first, not the first one I played, but my first own.
yeah,
We ordered it, my friend and I, we ordered it through Sears and Roebuck catalog and had it shipped to us. And then for Christmas, my parents bought me like the bulk of the AD&D
mm,
books, hardcover
yeah,
books, with the exceptions of a few, like later
yeah.
on, that I got later on, like Monster Manual 2, Fiend Folio, and Unearthed Arcana. But the rest of them, like I opened them up. It was the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, yeah. No, everything I kind of piecemealed together when I was a kid, and once I started working, because I started working young, and then I could afford to, buy a game here or there or whatnot. I mean, I
Yeah,
was still only making 3.25 an hour at the time when
yeah,
I started working,
yeah,
but it was like had no expenses, so it was like, all right, you know, I can buy a book every month or something like that, and
yeah.
pick them up that way. Because what were they, like
Well,
$15? the time.
Yeah, they were like $15 for a
Yeah.
hardcover book back then. It was great.
It's like,
It seemed like a lot of money, but I'm like,
well, yeah,
now
it
I
was,
prices.
$15 was, that was 5 hours work. It was
Yeah,
like, it was almost a whole day's worth of work, for $15. So,
makes
um,
you appreciate that stuff more, though.
yeah, yeah, you know. And then, of course, I got rid of everything in a yard sale when I got married. It was like,
My my D&D stuff is some of the probably the might be the only stuff, maybe outside of some novels and books, like
mm,
reading books, that I still have from when I was a kid. I still have
yeah,
my D&D books
no,
and stuff I'd never get rid of. Like I'll probably
I
never
had a
run
couple
AT&D
of
again.
novels that I kept,
They'll never go
but
away.
all of my gaming stuff, which wasn't a whole lot, but all of my gaming stuff just went in that thing. A lot of my Lord of the Rings stuff, I had like, art books and all kinds of stuff with Lord of the
Um,
Rings. I just let all of that go in a yard sale. Like I said, it was like we were getting married and moving into a small apartment. So it was like, all right, I can't bring, 5 boxes worth of gaming and
books.
novels and
Oh, I know.
video game
I
stuff and all that stuff. It was like, all right, do you want these books or you want your PlayStation? It was like, all right, PlayStation, at
yeah.
in 2000, it was, no, I'm going to keep my PlayStation going and my computer, but yeah, I mean, that's just that was unfortunately because 15 years later, I'm spending $80 a book to get what I
Yeah,
bought
it's
for 15
crazy.
bucks.
My buddy that it lives in PA that I've gamed with him for years, and
Mm.
we talk about that a lot because he actually has a whole house that's basically dedicated to his gaming,
Wow.
and it was the house he grew up in. Him and his wife have a different house, and after his mom died, he inherited the house, so he just runs his games out of
Oh
it.
my God. That's even better.
And we're like, yeah, the stuff now, like trying to get old stuff now is it's so. There was a stage where nobody wanted it, so you could friggin' get it for nothing.
Right.
And
But
now
now there's
it's
a high
everything
demand. I
is
mean,
stupid
I
expensive.
was
Like,
looking at like because so many people have been talking about Birthright, and I was like, all right, what's that's going for? Like
yeah,
120 is as cheap as I've seen it, you know,
yeah,
and it's like, but usually like two and change. I was like, all right,
yeah.
I'm not doing
Like
that.
the collector in me would I want the it's not D&D, but it's Hyperborea, but I want the edition, it was the second edition where it was just one big book. I have no reason to use it. I mean, I have all the
Yeah,
other stuff, but I just want that book in my collection because it just looks awesome. But
yeah,
yeah, that's like $150 or something
yeah.
on eBay. So I'm like, maybe one day I'll
Well, when
grab
you
one.
see Jeff, see if he has any laying around.
Yeah, well, I should ask him at
Yeah,
ShireCon. Hey, you got any of those kicking around?
yeah.
I'll
Might
buy
be like
one.
Venger. Venger has like 500 books still sitting in his basement. He's willing to, you know.
I
Uh,
actually saw I went because Jeff's having a sale, a May sale, and I went and looked. I mean, I have everything so far
yeah,
that he has out, but I also saw that there was some stuff, namely adventures, that are now sold out.
yeah. He sold them
So
out during that sale.
yeah, and they're
Yeah,
gonna. I think he'll end up reprinting them, and he said as much. But
yeah,
I was like, oh wow! So
yeah. I
I got
can't
the
wait.
last uh map that he had of
Mm,
Hyperborea that he had in his store because I was
yeah,
on the fence about buying it, and then his store will tell you how many's in stock, and I was like one left, and I was like,
yeah.
nope, I'm getting it because
He's
if I
out of
don't get it in
T-shirts
there,
too. Because I was
yeah,
looking, I was like, I
he
should get a
needs some
T-shirt
new
soon. And
merch.
yeah, he was out of T-shirts also.
Yeah, I looked at those the other day too because I was always trying to add to my T-shirt collection, much to my wife's chagrin.
No,
But
I know. Yeah, I'm limited to one drawer. It's like it's
yeah.
getting packed out. I was like, all right, so some of these have got to go.
I came
Well,
home from OSR Con, and
yeah,
when I saw my wife, I was like, "Oh, I got good news. I came home with not one but two T-shirts." And she's
yeah.
like, "You need to start throwing some stuff away." I'm like, "Never."
You need to get more adventures books. Yeah, you definitely should. I guarantee you will get them. You will get them for a lot less than they were because he's got to clear them out. Um, so yeah, I would reach out to him. Just reach out and say, hey, can I want to buy Like if you don't have like the Chalt books, those 3 books, which are absolutely beautiful books, I guarantee you can probably get all 3 of them now for $60. You know, but yeah, reach out to him. He's always looking to move this stuff along. So let's see. So what else is going on with now we're both going to the same convention. So I know
Yep.
is that your next one coming up is in June?
Yep. CNY.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking
Yep.
forward to that. That's going to be a great one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's gonna be fun.
yeah,
And I
I'm
have that
really,
one, and
really looking
then
forward to that.
ShireCon I'm signed up
And I'm
for.
happy about the games that I'm running there because I'm running Shadow Dark, I'm running Fallout, and I'm running Hyperborea. Which I have to start working on that adventure and getting that going. But I'm pretty much just scavenging a lot from already written Hyperborean
Yep.
adventure and just converting it over thematically to Red Nails. You know,
Yep.
so um,
It's
and
easier
I
to do
don't have that much to do with tweaking that thing out. I think I just have to create the 2 factions inside the temple that they're
Yep.
going inside, and
I'm
that will
gonna.
become the city kind of. It'll have the same theme, but just different maps.
I'm just doing the vendor thing at CNY this year. We'll see. I may. I don't know. I may. One of the guys is gonna run a Chubby Funster's Shadow Rim.
Oh yeah,
So I may.
I
I
ran
may
that.
play in
That
that.
was a lot of fun to run.
Yeah, I may play in
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
I'm
that's fun.
bringing some miniatures for him to use and stuff. So I may play in that. But I've never done the vendor thing before, so I want to make sure I'm not spread too thin.
Yeah. I let's see what I'm doing there. I'm going to bring up that. Yeah, that's upcoming event, so it'll tie into what I'm doing here. So, so AutoCon, I'm going to share. So AutoCon is my next one coming up. So let me talk about AutoCon a little bit. This is a tiny, tiny convention in my hometown. And here we go. Oh, that's a good size to do it too. So, oh wait, here we go. So AutoCon is going to be back at the James Baird State Park in Pleasant Valley, New York. It is going to be on June 4th from, oh, no, I'm sorry, scratch that. It is going to be June 6th, all right, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I am not running anything because there are 2 games that I want to play in. Tickets are not available yet. So the event schedule, I am looking to play in the Mothership one, another bug hunt. So
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, so that, and then there is one in the second half of the day. Let's see, we got to get out of these ones. And there was oh, I'm going to forget it. It's not Cthulhu by Gaslight. There was another game I want to do. Oh, Pirate Borg. So my first time
Oh,
playing
yeah.
Pirate Borg. So
Nice.
those are the 2
I never
games
played.
I'm playing in. So I am looking forward to that. Get an opportunity to play 2 games I've been dying to play in a long time. So again, this is AutoCon. Last year was about 75 people. All right, so it's slowly, slowly growing. It is an outside pavilion, but it has full cover and everything like that. They bring food. You can buy food vouchers there. It's usually like 2 hot dogs and a can of soda and a bag of chips for, $10. And that's a really, really good one. Nice, small, local. The people that run it are absolutely fantastic. So Fred and Mary, they run the whole show. Incredible people. So that's AutoCon. Now we're going to go to CNY, which is a much, much bigger con. About 200 people last year. Its first year. So CNY Con. And there's some news. What is the news? Game registration info is opening tomorrow, Saturday. That was a while ago. I already booked my schedule. So here is my schedule for that. So I'm running, and this will be the last time I'm running this adventure. No, I'm sorry. Shards of Ymir. That is on Friday night. It's the last time. There are 4 people in the waiting list, and let's see if I recognize any of these names. I don't. So I have 4, 5, 6 new players that I've never played before with. So that's going to be cool. Let's see what else I am going to. So I'm running that. And then on Saturday, I'm fully booked with Whispers from the Crypt. That's also a Shadow Dark. And I have one person from the day before. I have the Spencer family here and the Peterson family here. So cool. I have 2 couples and 2 individuals. That'll be a lot of fun. And there's 2 people waiting to be notified for that. I'm like booked. It's like
Nice.
that's awesome. I'm playing Dropship. All right, Collision Course, and this is run by Blackwell Games, and there's still tickets available for that. Still 5 tickets available for that. And then I am running. This is my Hyperborea game. There's still 2 tickets available. Hyperborea 3rd edition. This is Red Nails, and have don't recognize any of those names either. At least not off the bat. Maybe I'll recognize them when I see them. And then finally, I am in Barrows and Borderlands game being run by Matt Tapp. So the creator of the game.
Yep.
And I know I've played with Allison and Kevin before. They've played in my games before. Roger's playing in this one, so he's the event organizer. So he's playing in that. Dan Tesh, I recognize that name as well. So,
Oh yeah, Dan.
say again?
Yeah, Dan. I've never gamed with him, but he's in a lot of the chats.
Oh, look at my badge number. Badge number 2.
Nice.
I think I got him before Roger. I put a badge before Roger. So yeah, so there's a lot going on there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll
I
be
don't
fun.
hear-
That'll be a
oh,
good
there you
con.
go. Am I? Oh, I see what I was doing. Got it. Sorry, I was in between screens and I wasn't picking up your volume.
Oh,
I got you now. Yeah.
yeah. That con will be fun. I think.
Yeah. So
I know.
so what are you? Oh, you're just vending there. Yeah, you got to get in
Yep.
on some of those games.
Yeah, it'll be different not playing anything. Like I said, I might play Shadow Rim, depending on how the
Yeah.
table's going, my table's going or whatever. Um, Roger said that he would put the game near my table so I wouldn't have to be too far away. But my son's coming with me too, so like
Oh, that'll be cool.
I actually I'm hoping he'll jump on. I don't think I'm actually positive he probably hasn't signed up for any
Mm.
games. He doesn't have He does not seem to have much interest in playing games outside of our group. Although he will play, like he's played a few, but not a lot. Like he's never pursued like starting his own group or anything like that. And
Okay.
he's a great game master. He runs a great game.
Cool.
But I'd like to see him like he doesn't have to sit at the freaking vending table all weekend with me. Like he could go and play. He really likes Dragon Slayer's become his
Yeah.
game of choice.
You have a good night, Grandma. RPG Grandma. Have a good night. Yeah. Yeah. Dragon Slayer is a good game. I'm going to shift back over to. I'm going to shift back over to Castles and Crusades and integrate some of Adventures Dark and Deep into my Greyhawk campaign in
Yep.
September, because it's just I think that Castles and Crusades and Greyhawk, and Adventures Dark and Deep will work into a Greyhawk campaign a little bit
Oh
better
yeah.
than Dragon Slayer does.
Yeah, I'd like to. I have. I'd like to try Adventures Dark and Deep. I have the two core books, and then I
Yeah,
backed Joe's Kickstarter for that other book. It should be coming in a couple months. So
yeah, um,
I
yeah.
like
That's
it.
going to
Like
be
I
coming
think
like
it's
next.
definitely like AD&D, obviously, but like
Right.
there's a lot of charts and stuff. But like he says, you don't have to use all this stuff, and that was
Yeah.
one of the strengths of
Yeah.
AD&D is you didn't have to use everything. Like we didn't use a ton of
No,
it.
no, of course not. You
It
know,
was, you know,
we're not the bro
so,
SR where it's like, oh, rules is
no,
written.
yeah,
You got to use everything in there. No, no, no.
yeah, no, no, I
Never
don't.
was. Never needed to be.
No.
If that's how you
I
want to
like
be, fine.
I
But
like the classes, the way Joe did the classes. Like
yes,
the
know,
bard's really cool, like the jester, he's got
yeah.
that throw ability and stuff, and that can be pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
I might
Um,
include some of those as NPC classes, at least in the beginning, and then if their characters die and they want to, but I have to convert them to castles and crusades, which isn't going to be hard. But I definitely want to put the jester in there. I think the jester will fit well with
yeah,
a City of Greyhawk campaign because they're mostly in the city anyway. Like 99% of the time, they're going to be in the city. I can only foresee two adventures that will take them outside of the city, um, but those are going to come very, very late on into the campaign. Like probably 1 year plus. Into the campaign. That's where those will come
yeah,
in. And I'm thinking that I can actually probably manage a much larger group and to better be able to handle if somebody can't make it this session. Well, then you're just because it's a urban campaign. Oh, you just stayed in your apartment this week, or you were busy with your guild, on some little event. You don't have to worry about them being in some far flung place where there's no place, reasonable that they could be hanging out for a week. It's like,
right,
you know, you caught the flu and you're sitting in your bed for the last 5 days. We'll
yep,
get back to you later when when the players have done doing their little foray into this different quarter of the city for an adventure, kind of thing. So I think it's going to be give me a lot more flexibility to oh, you can't make it, fine. I can throw something together for 3 players if
yep,
the other 3 didn't show up. And very easy to explain where they're at. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to having that kind of flexibility. One of the things I know it's like trends, and the trends something that comes up a lot, especially in our circles, is when you are doing online gaming, and that whole response to what do you do when players don't show up, you know, and that's something that I think I'd love to have conversations specifically on that. Maybe that will become a future, live stream to just talk about that one issue. How do you
yep.
handle when most of the party doesn't show up for a particular thing?
I've
Although,
kind of run into that with
yeah,
my home group because we've had a couple players that just can't make the sessions
yeah,
anymore. At least for I don't know for how long it's going to last. But so we've been dealing with that. I've been running for basically 3 players, and then the last session I only had two.
yeah,
I just ran through. But the last session there was no combat. Like it was all
right,
role play, like dealing with the aftermath of the
hmm,
session before, and so.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
My
interesting.
OSC session last night, we were like, "Hey, why don't we play World of Warcraft together?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I might have to fire that up. We'll do an old dwarven. We'll try to mirror the campaign into World of Warcraft, and we'll go with World of Warcraft Classic, of course, not the new one, and which means I'll have to, fire up that subscription again. But yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll create a guild and name it the Stone Wardens, just like your group
Yep.
is in the game, and we'll play dwarves and just if only 2 players show up, guess what? let's jump in the game and
Yep.
play that instead.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list to do an all dwarf campaign.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's so much into it, and I'm into it, and we're just looking at it. It's like it's such a weird thing because you wouldn't expect it, but it has the campaign has a soul just 3 sessions in,
Yeah,
and everyone's bought into it, and it's like they're already, even though we're not explicitly saying it, but I've remind them once in a blue moon. It's like, you know what, or just like a little bit during each session. Oh, you're only talking to each other in Dwarvish. You don't hear any other languages but Dwarvish going on. You know, um,
right.
and and unless they're fighting goblins or bugbears, and then yeah, they're cursing at them in Dwarvish, or in Goblin if they understand Goblin as well. So, but yeah, all of it's like it's the dwarfiest of dwarves, right? To steal from, it is
Full truck
definitely the
in there.
dwarfiest of dwarven campaigns right now, and they're just loving it. And
Are
I,
you, what
yeah.
are you using an adventure for that, like a published adventure, or
No, no, I'm just,
making it up?
I use the number six, the what is it called? The carcass crawler number
Carcass
six,
Crawl 6. Yep.
because there you have some of the that's the dwarven one,
Yep.
right? So we do have a rune crafter in the group.
Yep.
Although I modified that a little bit because it's not really an adventuring class like that, so they can generate those runes, pretty much by just writing in the sand kind of thing, or it doesn't always have to be a rune stone that they're carving this stuff in. Um, I was
Do
going to
you
do the
have
same
the?
for the brewmaster, where they can convert, just simple water into a brew,
Oh, nice.
as long as they have the proper ingredients to do it, and almost like like turning water to wine kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and then that way they just have a way to utilize their spell like abilities more often than
Yep.
being like, oh, you actually have to sit there and it's so expensive to brew things. I was like, how the hell is this a playable class? It's like it
Right.
costs
Yeah.
$500 to brew a first level brew, 500 gold pieces. I was like, where are you getting that from? It's like, so I have to modify it to fit.
Be cheaper to go
Um,
buy it.
huh?
It'd be cheaper to go buy it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like,
Crazy.
so you got to fix it, tweak it a little bit for it to work,
Yep.
but make the it really does lend itself to creating that whole atmosphere of, you know, everything is dwarven around you. That's all you're really
Yep.
focusing on. Your adventures are going to be, serving the dwarven cause, in your situation. So it's working well. Um,
I thought
you know,
about my because I have the Dwaro Deep Mega Dungeon there from
right.
Greg, and I thought about using that as the basis for it.
Yeah, that would work
But,
too. You know,
you know,
but again, I'm not a huge fan of mega dungeons.
yeah, I don't know how that would work long term. Like if I'd want to keep, just
Yeah, what I do is like what I'm doing with the Dragon Slayer, because I'm using Barrow Maze, right? But I'm breaking up those levels into like totally different locations. So
yep,
they're not, they're only handling like one floor at a time, but it's not, something like there's 13 floors in this complex. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, no, you're going to go,
yeah.
then you're going to go back to
That
town.
we ran into that with my son last summer was running Dragon Slayer, and we were using the Highfell
Hmm.
Mega Dungeon that Greg wrote, and I liked it as a player. I was having fun with it, but he
Right.
was getting a little bit. But he wanted to do some different stuff. He just didn't want to keep doing the dungeons, and
Exactly. Yeah.
so he's got a whole new Dragon Slayer campaign he's going to kick off.
Yeah.
He's actually putting it in my homebrew setting, which he's run games out of my setting before, but
Right.
he's doing it again. So it's like a town that's mostly halflings and humans, and we're playing some of those halfling. Well, two of us are playing halflings, and then we have another
Right.
human. Yeah, the mega dungeon that I've at least as a player I've enjoyed so far. There's one called Ave Nox, and it's a system neutral
Mm.
mega dungeon. And that I play, we're playing it using Dragonbane. It's a monthly game I'm in, and
Right.
that is a really good mega dungeon because there's just a lot of stuff going on. It's not just kicking doors
Yeah.
and stuff. There's a lot, like there's factions and there's um weirdness, like stuff that it's just not the normal, like we're not dealing with goblins and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'll actually buy a copy of it before
Yeah.
we
I asked somebody
finish and I have it.
recently. Yeah, I asked somebody recently, like, how do you handle mega dungeons? And they said, well, you have to have various factions in there that they can
Yep.
then work with and find
Yep.
refuge with or whatever. He says, without factions, you really can't, you really can't justify being in a 13-layer dungeon, let's say, and you're not going to schlep back the last 12 dungeons
Right.
to get back to a safe plot, space.
Yeah.
So you need the factions. I was like, yeah. Well, the problem with the Barrow Maze is that there's no faction. Who are you going to say with? We're going to go with the acolytes of Set, or we're going to go with the cult
Yeah.
of Orcus, or
Right.
maybe oh, who was the other one? The other god of death,
Neural.
Neril.
Yeah.
I was like, who you hanging out with there? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's no friendly port there.
yeah, there's
Like
no friendly
everybody wants to
factions to
kill you.
deal with in there. Everybody is freaking either chaotic evil or neutral evil. And if you have a paladin in the group, you're basically fucked. So it's like, all
Yep.
right, let's come up with some other way to explain it. So but yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to having an urban campaign where it's not a stretch. All right, you're gonna leave the sewers and go over here. You're gonna leave that
Yep.
guild house where you were doing your adventure and come on over here, kind of thing, or this crypt
I
or whatever.
Yep. I haven't run a lot of city stuff, but during COVID, the game I ran online was city based, and that
Yeah,
was it. Like I didn't have to care about how many characters showed up because it was easy to just kind of explain them away
yeah,
or bring them back,
exactly.
and you could actually have like we didn't do it, but an idea you could have like a stable of characters too. Like, oh,
Yes,
like for this, I want to play this guy, or
yeah,
um, yeah, it was neat. And
yeah,
for prep, it was mostly because I used my own setting, so it was
yeah,
just me like building the city, like as we
mhm,
were playing. Like, oh, they might want to go visit this knucklehead or whatever, so I'll make him
right,
up or write some stuff about him. I had some overall ideas, but they were kind of free to do what they wanted, and
yeah,
um,
cool,
yeah, it was
yeah,
it was fun. It was fun.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'll be like when I shut everything down come July 1st, you know, um, because I'm going on vacation like the 6th. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna, just lead in and go into vacation mindset, and then hopefully I'm working most of the summertime. And then I'll be looking to fire certain campaigns up again in September. So I'm kind of
Yep.
taking off like 2 months. And during that 2 months' time, I want to do some writing. I want to get ready for some new adventures for conventions. Although ShireCon, I think I'm going to play mostly in ShireCon. I might
Yeah.
run one game during ShireCon, and that will be a play test of an adventure I'm writing. Um, so I'll do that. That'll be a Castles and Crusades game,
Yep.
adventure as well. And then going forward, then I'll go to Rising Phoenix the next year, 2027. So April, I'll go to Rising Phoenix,
Yeah,
and
I might try to go to that next year.
yeah, and then I'm going to just do, I'm probably just going to do those ones all the time. I might go to Concocticon in May of
Oh, yeah.
2027. That new one I talked about it a little
Yep.
bit because I had a good conversation with Ron, and I was like, hey, I'd really like to go to one of your conventions again. I just don't know about Page being in January. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, uh, that weekend is always a snowstorm. You can always
Yep.
guarantee a snowstorm on that
Yeah,
weekend.
they're 3 for 3.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's too
So
far for me for that time of year to drive
yeah,
down there for
yeah.
that. Pass.
I never looked into a train, but yeah, it's too close for a train, to go through the issue of a train, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I don't even know what kind of train would. I guess Amtrak would go there, but that's another whole hassle. I'd rather just drive. It's only like 3 hours and 45-minute drive,
Yep.
but it's just the winter time. It just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I got invited down there for the second one, and then I considered it, and then I talked to some folks, and they were like, "Dude, the weather's never good."
yeah, yeah,
And
it
I
hasn't
don't
been yet.
mind, but like I don't want to, I got to drive. It's about 8 hours for me, so it's like
Right.
I don't want to deal with that for
Yeah.
that
So
amount of
anyway,
time.
all right. Well, thanks a lot for joining in. As I
No, my
mentioned
pleasure.
earlier, next weekend I'm not doing one because it's Mother's Day on Sunday, so we'll
Yep.
not be doing much. But I will be doing this Friday. I'm gonna have Rob Connolly on this Friday evening, so it'll be 7 o'clock Friday. We're gonna be talking about basic fantasy, majestic fantasy. Sorry, majestic fantasy RPG. This is really, really an impressive game system. I mean, the more I look into it, the more I'm just falling in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 35 years worth of really thoughtful tweaking of D&D 1974, and it's just like a perfect game. It's crazy
Yeah, I
how
gotta check it
it
out.
is. All the stuff coming into it. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I
Really
have his
impressive.
Black
So
Marsh book, and that's impressive. Like I
yeah,
really liked it.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I want to play in his game again.
Yeah, I'd like to get into
So
his
much
game
in
too
the
if Sharkon is here.
at SharkCon. So yeah, I'm going to do mostly playing there. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot as always, Takato, and
Yeah,
everyone
thank
else.
you.
Thanks for joining in, and for those of you on Rumble, great to see you and everything. I know I've been popping in, like, taking a look to see who's been following along, and you'll have a great upcoming week. As always, I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen or at a convention sometime soon. And my next ones are in June. So see you all in June.